Welcome to the Urban Assembly Virtual College Fair. Thank you for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website where you registered. And now I'd like to turn it over to our first presenter from Queens College.
Sorry. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Isama Leonard. I'll be presenting for Queens College. Just share my screen. There we go. Hopefully everyone can see that. Okay, so some quick facts about Queens College. We were established in 1937. We have almost 20,000 undergraduate and graduate students. We are a four-year college of part of the City University of New York, which is known as SUNY. And we are among the top 1% of colleges nationwide in helping students from lower income families attain upward and social economic mobility. We have over 170 undergraduate and graduate programs available in the liberal arts and sciences. So if you're confused about what you want to do, definitely take some time to look through our website and our different programs, and you'll definitely find something that will suit your interests. Queens College has graduated more principals, teachers, and counselors for the city's public schools than any other college in the New York metropolitan area. So chances are, if you are in a New York City public school, your teachers, counselors may have received their education there. We also have the third largest number of accounting and business students in New York State. So if that's something you're interested in, you'll find a lot of people that are studying the same thing, and you'll have a lot of support. We also contribute to the local talent pool as a powerful economic engine and a leader in tech education. And one thing that we're very proud of is how affordable we are. We are one of the most affordable colleges in the country. Over 90% of our students who enter as freshmen and graduate within 4 years are able to earn their degrees without taking out federal student loans. We are also leaders in providing student support and successful outcomes. One example of that is QC&4, which is our 4-year graduation guarantee. Just a little bit of our accolades. In the last 5 years, 13 students and recent alumni have received Fulbright Awards. We have been named a Princeton Review Best College for 28 years in a row. Forbes magazine ranks us as Queens College in the top 5% of best value colleges nationwide. And in New York, we rank number 2. Some information about our faculty. We have over 1,600 full-time faculty and part-time staff. Our faculty consists of award-winning scholars, researchers, and activists dedicated to teaching and research. The great thing about this is that you'll be receiving your education, not just from someone who's there to teach you, but also someone who practices in your field. So they'll be able to share their firsthand experience with you, which will enhance your learning experience. So at Queens College, we have over 60 majors to choose from, including art, fine art, business administration, music, and social science. Our most popular majors are psychology, accounting, economics, computer science, and of course, education. We also offer accelerated master's degrees in many of our programs. This allows you to get a head start on your graduate studies faster at undergraduate tuition rates. So instead of taking 4 years to do your bachelor's, 2 years to do your master's, you would do 5 years for your bachelor's and your master's, which saves you time and money. Some of our specialized schools are the Aaron Copland School of Music, which is the only school that you have to audition for. It is an acclaimed music school offering conservatory style teaching and instructions. Its renowned faculty and alumni include nationally recognized composers, conductors, and performers who have received over 100 Grammy Awards and nominations. Another program that we're really proud of is our pre-engineering program with Columbia University, where you earn 2 degrees, a BA from QC and a BS in engineering from Columbia University in just 5 years. And Queens College students who transfer to Columbia after they're finished at Queens College are able to receive priority application review. And we have over 100 plus master's programs, including arts, fine arts, social sciences, teaching music, business, and computer science. So if you really enjoy your undergraduate experience at Queens College and you want to continue your graduate studies, you don't actually have to look for another school. You can stay right at Queens College. Here's a list of our honors opportunities. We encourage all of our students to be able to sign up for them. We participate in Macaulay Honors. The deadline for that is December 8th. Business and liberal arts, freshman honors, transfer honors, honors in the humanities, and many more. So here's the program, our opportunity program. QCN4 is a dynamic program that's available to incoming freshmen that assures your graduation in 4 years. It is the first program of its kind in New York City. It allows you to enter your career graduate school sooner while saving on tuition. You get valuable student support and resources as well. And the great thing about this program is that we make sure that you graduate in exactly 4 years. Sometimes that doesn't always happen due to class availability or not registering for the right classes. So this program was created so that that wouldn't happen. Another one of our opportunity programs is the Persealis Set and Seek program, which stands for Search for Education, Elevation, and Knowledge. It was established to provide comprehensive academic support to assist capable students who otherwise may not be able to attend college due to financial and educational circumstances. Our graduates also excel in their careers. We have the Center for Career and Engagement and Internships, which offers over 1,500 opportunities available and career counseling to our students and recent alumni. Our students are able to intern with agencies all over the metropolitan area at really cool places like Google and NASA, and this can lead to job opportunities as well. So Queens College has a really vibrant student life. These are some of our most popular clubs, but we have more than 100 clubs available. And if you don't find a club that you're interested in, but you and a few other friends and classmates who are interested in this program, in a certain club, you can create your own and receive the resources through the Student Life Office. So we are also a Division II in men's and women's athletic teams in the following sports. So if you're interested in sports, definitely check us out. We also offer living on campus, and here are our prices. I see that now you came onto video, so I just wanted to give my contact information. My email is alennard@qc.cuny.edu, and you can reach out to me with any questions you have about applying, or if you want to know more information about the school. We have information sessions and academic information sessions every day that you can sign up for, as well as a virtual tour available on our website. Thank you.
Thank you. So next, we'll be hearing from SUNY Maritime College.
Hey everyone, how are you doing? My name is Alex El-Halou. I work with SUNY Maritime College. I'm their Senior Admissions Counselor, EOP, and International Coordinator. So we'll talk a little bit about the institution. So this is our campus. We're located in the Bronx, South Bronx, Throgs Neck, New York. If you recognize that bridge, that is the Throgs Neck Bridge. We're right underneath it. We're about a 55-acre campus. Students can live on campus. Students could also dorm. That is our federal ship that you see on the water. So this is just a little bit of a glimpse of what our campus looks like. So again, we are a SUNY. We are the smallest SUNY, housing about 1,800 students. About 1,600 or so are undergrad, and then the remaining 200 are the graduate students. We have something called Regiment of Cadets and Civilian Lifestyles on campus, but I'll go into that in a little bit. We have 5 different academic ABET accredited engineering programs, which I'll talk about in a little bit as well. And we have 13 different recognized programs. We are a D3 school with 13 different sports. Going back to the theme of we are a small school, our class sizes are about 23, 21, with the smallest being around 5 or 12 students. So they're pretty small classes where every single teacher will know your name once you're in that class. We have about 80 or so clubs that change every year. They get added every year. So again, if a student wants to start a club, they can, and that typically happens sometime in October. So different undergraduate programs that we have. 5 different engineering programs, all ABET accredited: electrical, facilities, marine, mechanical, naval architecture. I can talk more about these if you guys have certain questions, you can ask about those. But I will note that naval architecture, we are one of 6 schools in the country that offers this as a major. So these are all bachelors of engineering. So bachelor's of engineering is the highest level of engineering you can get at a bachelor's level. We also offer a bachelor's of science with 3 different business degrees: international transportation and trade, marine operations, and marine transportation. These all deal with the shipping industry and e-commerce, so it's an international business degree. We offer maritime environmental science as our science degree with 2 different tracks of oceanography, meteorology, or marine bio. So you can kind of focus in on one or the other, or some students will take both minors and make that part of their degree. We also offer maritime studies as our humanities degree. It's more of a liberal arts degree. that kind of takes in business, it takes a little bit of history, it takes a little bit of English, and you're really learning about the maritime industry itself. Now, a lot of these programs really focus on the maritime industry, so like oceans and ships. However, it doesn't mean that you have to work within that field, right? So these have that theme, but a lot of it translates onto land. So, for example, if you want to study engineering, all of that can translate into power plants and hospitals and schools and other facilities, right? Because a building is basically a ship on its side. So a lot of the fundamentals are pretty much the same. We also offer one associate's degree, and that kind of focus in on a certain type of license that you can get at Maritime, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But you have to live on campus if you are in that program. So different options. We have something that is called a professional experience and a lifestyle. So this can kind of get a little confusing. So the best way to kind of look at it is kind of like this Venn diagram, where it's the regiment of cadets is an option as a lifestyle, and then you have the civilian option, right? So civilian option, all students are civilians. We are not a military school. However, we do have some military type themes of lifestyle. So civilian is a traditional college student. You can get up whenever you want. You can dress however you want. You can live on campus. You can commute. You're a regular tradition college student. The regiment of cadets, you have to live on campus. You wear a uniform. And depending on the year you're in, you may walk a certain way to class, right? A certain path. It is a more of a structured lifestyle that gives you more leadership opportunities. And then there's also the professional experience, right? So the professional experience is the US Coast Guard license or the internship, right? So we are a college of technology, which means that part of your academic career, you have to do something hands-on, right? So it's 50% theory, kind of like high school, how that operates. And then there's 50% hands-on experience. So internships, labs, using our simulators. So within our degrees, you can either do the license or the internship. So the license offers you a US Coast Guard deck license or engine license. There are unlimited license for the 4-year degrees, and that allows you to work on any size ship, right? So deck license will focus more on navigation, on cargo handling, and engine will focus more on the engine room of a ship and learning power. If you're in the regiment of cadets, you can either do the internship option or the US Coast Guard license option. If you're in the US Coast Guard license option, you have to be in the regiment, which means you have to live on campus. And if you're a civilian student, you have to go the internship route. So we are located on the SUNY and the Common app. We are test optional for the fall and the spring. So if you feel as though you would like to submit those grades, go for it. If you don't feel like you've done well or you haven't taken it, opt out, right? So test optional basically means that if you are submitting it, it has to be reviewed as part of your application. For engineering, you look for about a 90 GPA. You have to take pre-calculus. If you don't have it, we will waive that requirement if your school doesn't offer it. And then there's a Bachelor of Science, which is about an 85. So I'll go to the slide on my contact information to give you guys a little bit more information on who I am and how you can reach me. But if you have any questions about EOP, I'm more than happy to answer that in the chat.
Thank you. Next, we'll be hearing from SUNY Plattsburgh.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jennifer. I'm an admissions advisor here at SUNY Plattsburgh. I'm regionally based in New York City, so Queens. So let's get started about a little bit about SUNY Plattsburgh. So we are located about 5 hours away from New York City in upstate New York, 4.5 if you live in the Bronx, because you skip all that Manhattan traffic. You hit the I-87 and you go all the way north. So we are about 2.5 from Albany, 1 hour away from Montreal, Canada, 1 hour away from Burlington, Vermont. We are a medium-sized campus of around 4,800 undergraduate students. So it's a type of campus that you can walk around and see different people every day, but then also see your familiar faces. We have over 70 majors and minors that I will go through in the next slide. But we have definitely expanded from 1889 when we were founded as just a teacher's college. The building they see here in the background that is called Hawkins Hall, and that used to be our only academic building. And now we have about 36 of them. We represent about 32 different states and about 66 different countries. So we actually have a pretty wide international population as well. This year was no different. Our students came 2 weeks before classes started. They were able to quarantine and start classes at the same time as our domestic students. 30% of our students do identify as being Black, Latinx, or Asian American, mostly from the New York City region, like yourself. That does not include our international students, so it's solely domestic. And about 49% of our students identify as being first generation, so having both their parents not complete a 4-year degree. We do offer first generation student support services within our student support services office to help you with your transition, make it as smooth and as successful as possible. Rather that's academic support, emotional support, mental support, we accommodate for those. Our average class size is around 23 students, so pretty small and something that you're familiar with now in high school. If you are taking those lecture hall classes or those 100 level courses, they may run a bit bigger in terms of 40 to 50 students, but never more than that. We truly don't have the numbers to be hosting 100, 200 number students in a classroom. Now, we do have over 70 majors and minors. Skim through them. They range from these 3 schools. I will definitely touch upon some of our key highlights for them. So for our School of Arts and Sciences, it's our biggest school, just because it has the widest ranges of courses. So we do have our communication studies that has broadcast journalism, TV video production, audio radio production. We have a whole TV news station. We have an audio lab. We have a radio show, 2 of them, in fact. We also have our computer science, information technology, and computer security and robotics program. We have a whole center for cybersecurity and technology for our students to do hardware programming, software programming, game developing, web developing. We also have an arts program that has different concentrations within them. You do not need to submit a portfolio for them, but some of the concentrations that we have for arts is graphic design, sculpture, painting, printmaking, photography, just to name a few. We also have a very popular criminal justice program that is very social science based. We won't train you to be an NYPD officer, but we definitely have internship opportunities for those interested in the law enforcement aspects. We also have over 12 science majors. So for my students that want to go into the medical professions, we have biomedical science, biology, biochemistry. We also have about 10 pre-health advisement tracks. So pre-medicine, pre-dental, pre-optometry, you name it. What those health tracks will give you is additional advisement to make sure that you have all the requirements needed to apply to medical school, dental school. You will also make sure they have all the research opportunities. And if the time comes and you want to go to those medical professional schools right after undergrad, we will help you with your application process as well. For journalism, we have different concentrations. We have multimedia, newspaper, magazine as well, that is very easily able to double major with public relations as well. Political science is also another popular major. It has to do a lot with international relations, law, policy work, local government, federal government. For our second school, education, health, and human services, some of our key highlights is our 5-year master's in education. So within 5 years, you can graduate with both your bachelor's and your master's. We do offer student teaching placement in 3 different areas. Your 5th year in the Plattsburgh area, where we're located in the Capital District, so Albany, Saratoga, and back here at home in New York City. So you can actually finish your master's in at home, rent-free, and then just come up to Plattsburgh for graduation weekends. We also have our communication sciences and disorders program for those interested in speech pathology or audio radiology. We also have nursing that is highly popular for us. It is a direct entry program, which means you have to apply as a high school senior and get accepted as a high school senior. There's no transferring to the nursing program at a later time. Our social work program is accelerated. So instead of 2 years of graduate school, you qualify for just 1. That saves you tons of money and a whole other year of schooling. For those interested in sports therapy, physical therapy, personal training, we also have our fitness and wellness leadership program. And last but not least, we have a School of Business and Economics. Within this school, we're internationally accredited. That accreditation comes through the AACSB, which is the highest accreditation a School of Business and Economics can receive. So what that accreditation gives you the ability to do is to double major within this school and still graduate in that 4-year time frame. So I see that my time is almost up, so I'm gonna speed talk through some of the requirements. So 84 to 92 high school GPA. We are test optional for the 2021-2022 school year, so don't think you have to submit your scores. For EOP, it's a high school GPA of a 77 to an 81. We do offer merit-based scholarships and specific New York City scholarships just for New York City students. We are rolling admissions as well, so we do not have any specific deadlines except for nursing. Nursing, we would suggest apply no later than December 1, just because of the limited seating. And this is our admissions email address. Please feel free to email us for any questions that you may have. They will always direct me to me. That is a New York City admissions advisor. But thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Next, we'll be hearing from Fordham University.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mary Bellingett. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. Let me go ahead and share my screen here just to make sure we're good to go. All right, so once again, Mary Bellingett here, coming from Fordham University. I am the Associate Director of Diversity Initiatives at Fordham. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. So what is Fordham? This is actually our Rose Hill campus right here. We are a medium-sized research institution in the heart of New York City. We have 2 campuses. I'll kind of go over them a little bit later. Let me see here. So this is our student profile. Right now, we have about 16,972 total students on campus. About half of that are undergraduate students from 47 states and 82 countries. We do attract a lot of international students as well. 34% of our students identify as students of color. 9% are international students. And 17% of the incoming class from last year was first generational students, but this year that's actually bumped up to 23%. As the Associate Director of DEI, we are constantly working to increase the diversity of our campuses. We know that there's a lot of work to do. I actually came into this position from UC Berkeley prior, and I'm super excited to be here and a part of this New York network of schools. So a little bit more about the community. We have a ton of resources for our students of color and underrepresented groups. Again, my work is very close to the Chief Diversity Officer at Fordham. We are launching the creation of a multicultural center for students, as well as a Black scholarship program. So more on that. At the very end of this session, I'll go ahead and insert my email so that anyone can reach out to me in regards to those scholarship programs and learn a little bit more about our community. We also have something called the RAM chat. If you all go into your search menu and just look at the Fordham RAM chat, you get to chat with a current student. It's a lot like social media, and you get to pick the student based on where they're from, what their major is, what year they are. And I always say, as regards to student life, especially now that we're in the virtual space, which I hope you're all doing really well in, it's really hard to kind of get a picture of what students are experiencing unless you're talking to an actual student. So I highly recommend that you all do the RAM chat. So we also like to say at Fordham that New York is my campus. We are proudly the Jesuit University of New York. We view New York City as the extension of the classroom, the global hub for innovation. We have a ton of students who go off to do such amazing things. So once again, we have 2 campuses. We have a residential campus in Rose Hill, and that's situated in the Bronx, and we have a residential campus at Lincoln Center, which is in Manhattan. We have 3 colleges at Fordham University, 3 undergraduate schools. So we have Fordham College at Rose Hill, Fordham College at Lincoln Center, and the Gabelli School of Business, which is one of our more competitive programs. In terms of academic life, students, the question that we get most often is if students are able to take classes at either of the campuses, and the answer to that is yes. You do have a home campus, so when you do apply, you have to select whether you want to be at Fordham College at Rose Hill or Fordham College at Lincoln Center, but you're certainly welcome to take classes outside of your core classes at the other campus. And so it's quite a fun experience for students to get to know both campuses and their distinctions, but the community is still very much the same. We also invite you to challenge yourself. Like I said, we have about 70 plus majors and minors, anything from urban studies to business to finance to our performance, which is super popular. Right now, obviously with COVID, auditions are kind of at a halt. However, we're still virtually doing auditions for students. We have a theater on our Lincoln Center campus, which has been very popular as well. Our students are dedicated to undergraduate student research, and more than 80% of our student populations complete internships. Again, super competitive. It's the city of New York. And that 45% number is actually 50% now. So in the life cycle of an academic student at Fordham, 50% of our students actually go and study abroad. We have a separate study abroad office and a set of advisors that will advise you as to what majors you can take, what courses you can take abroad and how they're going to help satisfy and fulfill your major. Another brief depiction is how to get involved at Fordham. And as you can tell, a ton of this presentation today and the minutes that I have to speak is centered on student life. We do believe that that's kind of the heart of this institution. So we have over 225 clubs and organizations. Sorry, we don't have Greek life. We have sponsored activities off campus. Again, if we open up again, like Broadway tickets, we are a D1 school. We have over 17 athletic programs. Most of them are at the Rose Hill campus. We have programming for students who are from the New York area, students who are commuters, and for students that are in the residence halls. We also have an Office of Disability Service that works with each individual student to determine how best to support you, especially again, during this really tough virtual time. We have 22 Division I sports plus club and intramural sports. And outside of that, we also have varsity sports for students who are interested in playing club sports. All right, so what is a Jesuit education? I know some of you may be asking that. So we do have core principles at Fordham. The first one is cura personalis, which means care of the whole person. The second is magis, which is my favorite, it means more. And the third is hominis pro aliis, which means people and care for others. These are some of our famous alum. And let's talk a little bit more about admission. So we do use the Common App, just like a ton of the schools that are also present here today. The application deadlines for this year are November 1st and January 1st. You apply, like I said, to one campus, to one college, but you could certainly take college classes at your other campus. SAT or ACT scores are not required, which was a huge win, I think, for colleges around the nation. We are test optional for the next 2 years. And so, as we approach the application deadlines, we've certainly taken into consideration all the barriers that have been reduced without testing. So we're super proud of that. As it relates to financial aid, so our tuition fees, a little hefty price tag there. We are working on making sure that we have more scholarships available for our students. We do have room and board available as well. And I see that my time is almost up. So let me skip. You might want to take a picture of the screen right here. And then lastly, here is my contact information for everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we'll be hearing from Williams College.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Let me share my screen. Thank you to my fellow colleagues here who are sharing. You have some great options for all of you. I am a proud graduate of Fordham University. So Williams College, my name is Dean Mendes. We are a small private liberal arts and science college located in Williamstown, Massachusetts. So we are about a 3-hour drive from New York City and a 3-hour drive from Boston. We are in the western part of Massachusetts. We're on the border of Vermont and also the border of New York. So here are some of our demographics. So we are 2,200 undergraduate students from all over the world and all over the United States. You can see some of the numbers here on the slide. 21% Pell eligible students at Williams. We are lucky to be well resourced. We have one of the best financial aid programs in the United States. You can see 42% of our students are students of color. So academics, so small class sizes, you're going to get to know your professors, you're going to get to know other students in the class with you. Over 700 courses. We have academic divisions. Each student will take 3 courses in each one of those divisions that you see on the slide there. And more than 40% of our students will have a double major. We have a unique program called the Williams Tutorial. So those courses are 1 professor and 2 students. It's modeled after Oxford University in the UK. and we have 10% of our courses are tutorial style. So it's not something you have to take, but it gives students an opportunity to have that real close relationship with the professor. About half our students will take at least one tutorial. You can see some of the examples of the titles on that slide. So jump right to life after Williams. We know that you haven't gotten to college yet, but college goes by faster than high school life. So we want to talk about what happens after that. We have a terrific career center. We have the oldest alumni society in the United States. So lots of networking happens with that. And you can see on the slide, 80% of our graduates are employed 6 months after graduation. 80% are going to graduate school 5 years after or already enrolled. And you can see some of the most frequently attended professional schools for Williams alum. So quick little overview of the admission process. So very holistic. We use the Coalition, the Common App, or the QuestBridge application for Williams. We have early decision. Deadlines are there. We are test optional for this applicant cycle because of COVID. Typically, we are not test optional, but we know that many students cannot take the test. We don't want people risking their health as well. But we look at everything. We are building a community. We value community at Williams in our small setting, in our rural community as well. So we're going to look at your writing. We're going to look at your activities. We're going to look at your extracurricular activities, and also the recommendations from your teachers to build a community, to select students that we feel will add to our community at Williams. So a little bit about financial aid before I let you go. We are need blind for financial aid for US citizens. So we meet 100% demonstrated need for all of our students that apply. We have one of the best financial aid programs in the United States. 94% of our financial aid is grants, so that is money that students do not have to pay back. We are the only school in the U.S. where if you're on financial aid, that will cover the cost of books, supplies, and fees. We also have free summer storage as well. If you study abroad, your financial aid does travel with you also. There are 64 programs that our students can choose from for majors on our campus, but also we have 200 programs that are study abroad options as well. So lots of opportunities here. I don't want to take up more time than necessary. Here are links to some of our social media and also the admissions email address, as well as the internet link for that as well for our link. So I appreciate you listening. If you have questions, please put them in the Q&A and I will hopefully answer them for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Here. Lastly, we'll be hearing from Hamilton College.
Great. Hi, everyone. Let me share my screen. Awesome. Hopefully you can see the Hamilton College slide. So my name is Tyler Boyle, and I am an assistant dean of admission here at Hamilton. Some quick facts about Hamilton is that we have about 1,850 students on campus and 200 students that study off campus for a total enrollment of just under 2,000 students. We have students coming from 47 states and 49 different countries. About 26% of our students self-identify as United States students of color. About 7% of our students identify as international students. About 16% of our students self-identify as first-generation college students, and 50% of our students are on some form of need-based financial aid, which I'll talk about in just a minute. We were named after Alexander Hamilton. We were originally founded as the Hamilton Oneida Academy in 1793, but we were officially chartered as an institution of higher education in 1812 when Alexander Hamilton was our first board of trustee member. And what we like to say is that we loved him before the musical did. And Alexander had a lifelong motto, which is know thyself. And we believe here at Hamilton that know thyself is a lifelong journey, but within the know thyself motto that we've adopted here at Hamilton, we offer each of our students 3 promises to be able to begin or be on the process of knowing themselves. And those 3 promises are to study what you love, be who you are, and find your future. So in terms of study what you love, the biggest thing to take away is that we have an open curriculum. The open curriculum means that we have no general distribution requirements and no core curriculum, which really means that if you know what you want to study, whether that's psychology or geoscience or medieval and Renaissance studies, you can come to campus and start taking those classes as early as your first semester on campus. But also, if you have absolutely no idea what you want to take when you get to Hamilton, you're going to be paired with a pre-major advisor who really helps you navigate and figure out, what things might you be interested in, and you really have the opportunity to explore our entire curriculum. It also means, however, that if you hate math or science or English or theater, you never have to take those classes ever again, which I think is really, really exciting. The open curriculum also offers a lot of flexibility. So about 1 in 5 of our students will double major. Even more of our students will have a major and a minor, a major and 2 minors. But one of the really cool things about our open curriculum is that students also have the opportunity of creating their own major as well. So I know a student who has brought in various aspects of sociology, public policy, theater, visual art, and psychology, and has created her own major that is unique to her at Hamilton. As you can see, we also have 57 areas of study, including 43 majors, 11 minors. And some of our top majors right now are economics, mathematics, government, literature and creative writing, psychology, public policy, and Hispanic studies. We do have a little bit of guideposts throughout the open curriculum, just so students have a little bit of support and guidance throughout their time at Hamilton. So the first is that we do require students to take 3 writing intensive classes that are across the curriculum. So linear algebra even counts as a writing intensive class. And that's really so students can be good writers in their future to be able to communicate what they know and what they've been studying. We also have a speaking intensive suggestion. So a lot of your classes will have some form of oral communication component, whether it's a presentation or something along those lines. And then we also require students to take at least 1 course that involves numbers of some kind. And along with those guideposts, we also have some really fantastic centers on campus that allow students additional support when they're taking those classes. Oh, goodness. Great. The second promise is to be who you are on campus. So like I said, we have just under 2,000 undergraduate students, and we're entirely undergraduate, and 100% of students live on campus for all 4 years. Of course, right now with COVID and students coming from 47 different states, we do have some students that are studying entirely remotely this year, which is totally fine. But in a normal year, 100% of our students are living on campus for all 4 years in 28 of our different residential halls. We also have some fantastic food, and you can see one of our dining halls on the slide right now. In terms of clubs and organizations, because we're entirely residential, there is so much to do on campus. In fact, we have over 200 clubs and organizations that our students are a part of. It's also very easy to create your own club on campus too. Our 2 most popular clubs right now are Havoc, which is our community service-based organization, and the Hamilton Outing Club, which is an outdoor adventure club. They go hiking, biking, cycling, whitewater rafting, all kinds of things. We're located about 45 minutes from the Adirondack Mountains. And so that's a really, that's something that Hamilton Outing Club takes full advantage of. However, my favorite place on campus is something that I like to call the living room of campus, which is the Days Masolo Center, which is our identity-based hub for all of our students. So within the Days Masolo Center, you have the Black and Latinx Student Union, the Feminists of Color Collective, the Gender and Sexuality Union, which I'm actually the staff advisor for, the Women's Center, and a ton of other identity-based organizations too. We also have sports. So we are a Division III institution and participate in the NESCAC, which is the New England Small College Athletic Conference with Williams, which is super exciting. And off of the hill, we are located in the village of Clinton, which is a small town of about 2,400 people. But about 10 minutes away is the town of New Hartford, which has a lot of commercial things like your Chipotle, your Panera, your Target, your Walmart, your Best Buy. And we actually run a shuttle free of charge to students to both the village of Clinton and the town of New Hartford every single day. And then about 20 minutes away, is the city of Utica, which is definitely a small city, but a city nonetheless. And in the city of Utica, there is a train station that will get you to New York City, Penn Station in about 4.5 hours. So I see that my time is almost up. 6 minutes goes really fast. Oh my goodness. So I'll definitely talk a little bit about admission takeaways. We have a comprehensive review process for all of our admitted students, or every student who chooses to submit an application. We accept the Common, the Coalition, and the QuestBridge application and have no preference in terms of which one you choose to submit. We are going to be test optional this year, just like everyone else was talking about. There are tons of virtual event opportunities on our Discover page. We accept 3 different types of applications. So we have 2 rounds of early decision and 1 round of regular decision. And in terms of financial aid, we are need blind for first-year domestic applicants, and we are dedicated to meeting 100% of demonstrated need for all of our admitted students. So now I'll share my contact information on the slide and stop sharing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I see that there are quite a few Q&A questions still open. So I'm just going to invite the reps to come back on and address any of those, since it looks like there's a question for almost every school. So anyone can start if they'd like. And
I can
feel
start
free
with
to
the question
say
about
more.
how New York City students adjust to living in rural areas, and I can let Tyler weigh in as well. So Williams is a rural community. It's in Williamstown, so it's a small town. The closest larger city is probably Albany, which is about an hour away. But there's many things. Students are not going to be bored. Students are not going to feel like there's nothing to do because they're in that type of community. The focus is on the school. There's less distractions. We have so many events and so many activities and so many student organizations. So it's active. You're busy. Many of our students come from large cities around the world and find that for 4 years, they're going to have this quiet, serene culture to be in that helps them focus on their self, helps them focus without distractions. So, and you have access to other places you can get to. Just the focus is going to be mainly on what goes on campus and what happens in the community in Williamstown. Thank you.
Yeah, just like Dean said, I think it's very similar for Hamilton too. New York City students certainly have a bit of an adjustment, as do people from any kind of city that are moving to a fairly rural location. But I think as Dean and I talked about a little bit in our presentations, is there's so much that happens on campus that really allows students the opportunity to form a community on campus. And at least for Hamilton specifically, we have a great number of New York City students on our campus. And so a lot of times New York City students will even have their own kind of individual community on campus too.
All right. Well, I'll let the reps spend a little bit more time responding to the Q&A questions, but I'll just say thank you all for joining us. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey, and we'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this was just one of many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions. And in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other sessions recordings at the same website where you registered. Thank you, everyone. We have about 2 minutes, so I'll leave the Zoom running if there are any more questions. All right, that is the end of our time. So thank you again, everyone. Bye.